I've been told by so many people that you have to grow up karting. And if you didn't, then you already missed your shot. You know, you're 25 now, you're too old, you just drive on the sim, you have no sponsors, you know, you're just playing a computer game, so why are you trying to make this in real life? And now I'm here sitting in front of you telling you that you don't have to grow up karting. You know, you don't have to grow up rich. You can start when you're a little older. And the dream of being a race car driver is still very, very, very achievable to you. Okay, let's do this thing. My name is Ryan Kircher, and I'm an aspiring race car driver who's looking to go from watching motorsports on TV and racing on a simulator to actually getting behind the wheel and racing in real life. Currently, I have been racing Rush SR race cars in the Grid Life Rush National Series. And I also work closely with Dax and Gray Motorsport in Scottsdale, helping them with their next racing venture and helping myself with the next step in my racing career. I've been lucky enough so far to go from the simulator to getting some races in the Rush, and then as far as testing in Lamborghini Super Trofeo. I'm also a driving coach in both the simulator and in real life, where I aim to use the simulator as a tool to make you faster in real life and maximize your time at the track. I've got some really exciting plans and ambitions in motorsports in the future, but before we get into all that, I want to tell you guys where it all started. I was born in the small town of Yuma, Arizona, about 100 to 200,000 person town, and I grew up watching motorsports. I went to my first F1 race when my parents bought tickets to the Indianapolis Grand Prix before I was born, and instead of canceling the trip, they went ahead and took me anyways. So I went to the Indianapolis Grand Prix from when I was about 3 months old till about 8 years old, and that really was the foundation. At home, we would always have racing on TV. Sunday mornings, I remember we would watch church on TV and then turn on the F1 race, wherever that would be. But being from a small town in Arizona, the opportunity is not great. Really, everything that's out there is pretty much just sand and sand dunes, so there's no racing. Even if I had the opportunity to go driving from a young age, there's just none of that for you. Then when I left Yuma, I used football. I played college football at California Lutheran University to get out of town. Sorry, mom and dad, but just needed some opportunity. And then after school, when I graduated, you still kind of always have that competitive bug of like, what's next? Some people get into, triathlons or high rocks or whatever it is. But for me, I was like, man, what is it? And it ended up being racing. So the first thing that you do when you want to get into racing and you're not sure if you want to do it, some people can afford to buy a race car and go and try. But for me, I bought a simulator. I was running on a console and an old TV that I had. Just playing the F1 game or ACC or whatever it was. That's really kind of where it all started. And then as most people do, the sim slowly starts getting upgraded. I ended up getting iRacing and joining an endurance racing team. And that's really when it started to click that, maybe I have to give this a try. And then I'll never forget, I was in a racing lobby with an IndyCar driver, with an F1 reserve driver and a current GT4 champion, and I was competitive. Like, I'm not saying I was beating those guys, but I was right there with those guys. When you see that you're competing with somebody who's competing at the highest level of their game, that's incredibly motivating. So I knew from then, I was like, oh man, like, I really have to give this a shot. And shout out to my soon-to-be wife for telling me to test, but I ended up testing my first race car a little over 2 years ago in the Rush SR, and the test was incredible. It was just one of those moments that you've been dreaming of your whole life. I'll never forget the feeling of hitting the gas pedal of a real race car for the first time, leaving the pits, and the feeling inside my head was like, oh shit, like, you are way over your head. Like, there's no reason you should be doing this. Like, you're just coming from behind a computer. There's no way like this is going to be a good idea. But as time goes, those feelings fade, 1 or 2 laps, and then you realize you're like, oh, actually, like, this is just like the sim. Like, I can actually do this. So as the day went on, you just got more and more confident, and the test went really well. Then shortly after, I was lucky enough to be invited to make my racing debut just a few months later. at Laguna Seca of all places. So kind of crazy. My first race, there was like 42 entrants to that race, and the races went great. There's some inexperience and some things to learn, but then it's one of those feelings that once you take the green flag for the first time, it's like the craziest bug you'll ever get. And it's something that you have to chase even more. So after that first race weekend, we committed. I knew I wanted to do this at a high level, and I knew it was going to be an uphill battle. I'm a self-funded 23-year-old, fresh out of college driver with no major sponsor who's trying to get into a world where connections and marketing and sponsorship is everything. So I didn't have any of those things, so it's going to be incredibly difficult, but honestly, that's not going to stop me at all. And part of the reason why I choose to keep going is because, man, I just love racing. I love the feeling of putting the helmet on and where your mind goes when you're on track driving a car inches away from somebody else. And I love the ambiance at the track. I love going to race weekends, whether I'm driving or not. And there's just something special about being in the paddock with a group of guys guys and girls that you have common interests with, and everybody's there for a specific reason. They could be coming from all across the country, all different career paths, but everything they've done has led them to that moment, sharing it with you. And so I've met some of my best friends at the racetrack, and it's been honestly incredibly motivating to keep pushing, is because you just love it so much and you just want to get back out there as soon as you can. So now as I continue to grow, I still am looking for some of those sponsors to help out and continue to grow with me. I've got a lot of amazing plans this year and a lot of amazing dreams and opportunity in the future that I just want to take advantage of, and really get a mutual partner that we can grow together and make the most out of everything. I was hesitant at first to start a YouTube. I know it's gonna be a lot of work, but I'm actually really excited now to start sharing this, because I think the only thing that I love more than racing is sharing it with the people that I'm close to. I don't think there's a time that I'm happier than when I'm at the track, except for when I'm at the track with the people that I really care about. So now I'm going to be extending that hand out to you guys and documenting every step along the way. The wins, the losses, the struggles, what we're going through to get to where we are, and what we're going to try to do to make it happen. So I'm really excited to start sharing this. And if you find yourself being a part of a similar journey and want to do something similar, where you're going from the simulator or just watching at home on TV, then shoot me a comment, shoot me a follow. I'm happy to help. I'd love to. And lastly, if you're still here, thank you so much for watching. I'm so excited to start sharing this. I'm gonna try to post a long form video about once a week. So I will see you guys in the next one.